Hello, everybody. My name is Jerome from Signature Cruise and Travel, powered by Travelution. Thank you for joining me once again for another one of our mentorship calls. I love this opportunity to kind of drop a few things that I would love to share with you, and then open up and answer some great questions I'm sure we have amongst the travel agents that are on the line today. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I wanted to really make sure to cover this topic in brief. This could really take a whole hour when it comes to insurance, travel insurance and cruise insurance. Of late, this has been a priority for almost all of my clients. And I just wanted to speak a little into it because insurance can be tricky, it can be complicated. And I just wanted to drop a few nuggets as it relates to insurance so that you're better aware of certain things that I've run into and things that you should be aware of when you're serving your clients. So let's go right into it. So what is cruise insurance? Let me start there. Cruise insurance is a specific type of travel insurance policy that covers accidents, injuries, and other potential mishaps that could occur while during a cruise holiday or vacation. It's designed around the activities that you're likely to take part in during your cruise, and also offers cover over additional accommodation and travel expenses under certain circumstances. So I try to make sure that our clients, when we are, especially our cruise clients, they are aware of the differences between the cruise insurance versus the travel insurance. It's very key and important to understand that this travel insurance that is normally offered by Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, Carnival, the other cruise lines, this is a very specific travel insurance. It's a version of travel insurance specific to cruises. And it's key and important that you give your client as much as you can as far as an understanding of what's covered. Let's move on to travel insurance and what it may include. Things like cabin confinement, unused excursions, itinerary change, missed port departure, cancellation or curtailment, cruise interruption, medical expenses, and really more. So we wanted, there's a little graph off to the right that I just wanted to kind of demonstrate a little about. And it's basically showing you things that are covered depending on whether you're using the travel insurance like Alliance or Travel Guard or TravelX versus Royal Caribbean, which is the cruise insurance. You can see from the numbers in green, highlighted in green, the same cruise can cost different amount of money depending on which vendor you decide to use. One of the key things that I try to point out, and what I try to make sure is when I'm offering travel insurance or cruise insurance to our clients, it's customized to that client, meaning the things that they would be most concerned about. So oftentimes, if I have elderly people traveling, I want to make sure that their medical is kind of kicked up a little bit more. Because of obviously the possibility of a medical issue coming up forward. Now, anything can happen to anybody. You can fall down a flight of stairs, trip over something on the floor, but medical insurance is very key and important, especially to our elderly clients. And so when you look at the cruise insurance, the first row, you would notice that the cruise insurance only really typically will cover the lower spectrum of medical insurance. This is just an example. It may be different depending on the cruise, whether it's 5-day cruise, a 7-day cruise, or what type of cruise where you're actually traveling to oftentimes. So I typically would look at travel insurance, even though the cruise insurance is very lucrative. As you can see, things like emergency, the cruise insurance in the last column is only covering about $30,000, whereas travel insurance covers up to $500,000. Let me tell you, it can get very expensive if you have a medical emergency while you are cruising. especially depending on the country that you're in, depending on the treatment that is necessary, because different countries, as you know, have different standards. We want to make sure that our clients can be treated in the highest, best care possible while they're in that country. So what you get what you pay for, and we want to make sure that our clients are as fully covered as possible. Whereas trip cancellation comes into play in the third row, you'll notice that cruise insurance will cover much of the insurance that you paid for the cruise, whereas travel insurance are typically a percentage of what you're using or what you have paid, depending on the level of travel insurance. There are travel insurance that will cover a lot more, close to 90. None of them that I'm aware of cover 100% of a trip when it comes to a cruise, as far as the amount that you spent towards it. These are key things that I've had to learn to set the expectation for my clients for, so that they are not assuming that I'll get all my money back. What insurance does is help mitigate your losses, but oftentimes it doesn't completely cover all expenses that you paid into the trip going into it. So this was a small chart, and I kind of want to give you an idea of cruise insurance in the last column versus some of the top travel insurance companies, what they offer for the same type of trip. Well, I thought this was important just so that you can identify right away, because sometimes people think it's the same across the board, whether you get travel insurance or cruise insurance, and it's very much not the case. Cruise insurance is, like I said, is specifically designed for cruises, and they will cover certain things that even travel insurance won't cover. And we'll get into that even more. So for instance, like unused excursions, that might not be something that the travel insurance covers. What you have to just make sure of is that you're informing your client as much as possible, but not to do it in such a way that you're speaking outside of your what you're fully aware of or trained for. So what is travel insurance? So travel insurance is definitely a broader base insurance. Travel insurance is insurance coverage for risks associated with traveling, such as loss of luggage, delays, and death or injury while in a foreign country. Travel insurance is insurance coverage for risks associated with traveling, such as loss of luggage, delays, death, or injury while in a foreign country. I say that twice because it's important that you understand, especially when it comes to medical coverage in a foreign country, things are very different, and you have to make sure that the client has as much information about that as possible when they're picking the insurance coverage that they're, make sure that they understand what they're getting, they're paying for when they book these travel insurance policies. What is travel insurance, and what it may include is things like emergency medical insurance and evacuation. We discussed that. Evacuation, certainly, if there is a issue that arises in the country that you're visiting, things getting on a plane and flying right back as quickly as possible instead of waiting for your scheduled air. These are things that would cover. But when we talk about evacuation, some emergency event that takes place that's not necessarily medical related, but just an emergency in the country that you're visiting, and you need to get out of there quickly. These are type of things that the insurance company would cover. Accidental death and dismemberment. These are things that will also be covered. They will fly the remains back under that insurance policy. Loss of stolen luggage. There's a certain amount of money that the insurance, depending on the policy that you pick, that will help cover the cost of replacing the things that you lost and the luggage that you lost. There's insurance policies that cover car rental, typically for collisions. That's car rental, so that, or in some cases, if a car is stolen while it's rented. You really do have to look at the details with these insurance policies. It will cover your hotel expenses. And cruise ship protection as well. And you got to really check your policy when it comes to cruise ship protection, when it comes to travel insurance, because not all travel insurance will cover your expenses related to cruises. You have to make sure that the policy that you are picking for your client, a cruise client, will also cover their cruise if that's what that's included in their trip. Oftentimes, I will use the cruise travel insurance to cover my client for especially a client that is flying and doing a pre or post stay at a hotel before they get on the ship. If they're flying into Florida, they will have to fly into Florida. Oftentimes, we highly recommend that our clients arrive the day before the trip. And that is so that, if a flight gets canceled or delayed on the same day of their sailing, they don't end up missing the boat or the ship, so to speak. So we always advise our clients to come in the day before and for a pre-stay. So insurance would cover those type of things if there is a problem that requires a cancellation or interruption or delay. And unfortunately, especially in last year, COVID has changed a lot of the industry for travel. The number of suppliers has had to close. They had to file for bankruptcy because they were not in a position financially before COVID to be able to withstand the effects of COVID, which is the cancellation of a lot of travel. Yeah, a lot of hotels have actually closed, not necessarily the brands all the time, but the locations. And so this is the type of stuff we don't think about that we are making sure our clients are covered for. Hopefully these are highly unlikely things, but they do happen. So in travel insurance, some of the things that it doesn't cover are things like extreme sports, where there's a chance of death or injury is really high. Things that you do while you're under the influence of controlled substances, you're not going to get covered for that by that with the insurance. Fear of traveling to countries such as those on the State Department do not travel list. If you are traveling to someplace that the United States is saying it is not a good idea for you to travel, that insurance company will not cover you for that particular trip or anything that happens during that particular trip while you're in that other country. Learning to fly a plane, the insurance company is not going to cover that when you are traveling. And believe it or not, I recently learned that things like pregnancy, they won't cover, or medical travel when you're traveling for medical reasons, that won't be covered under typical travel insurance. There may be something that's very specified for that, but typically travel insurance is not going to cover things like that. So when you see the one thing I always try to avoid is pictures like to the bottom left. I never want my clients to be frustrated and upset. They found out some bad news and their trip got disrupted and they have no way to really address it. And so we really do highly recommend, we do that with every one of our clients, local or domestic. We are recommending for each and every travel that we book for our clients that they get insurance. We just wanted to speak about some key steps when arranging for insurance. And this is very important as far as my personal experience with my clients. Travel advisors are not insurance experts. It's tempting to try to answer questions by your client. Does it cover this? Does it cover that? What about COVID? Or what if I cancel because my job won't let me? Things of that nature I really don't know the answers to. I know in general, but I try to at all costs avoid answering questions. I immediately let our clients know I'm not an insurance expert. However, I can get you the documents required, the documents so that you can review them, or the 1-800 number to ask very specific questions. You want to make sure that you're not setting the client's expectations based on your words and they're making a decision on insurance thinking they're covered for something that you perhaps said or thought you was correct, and then it turns out that it wasn't, and then your client is upset with you. So don't answer specific questions because you're not the expert. I always tell my clients, I'm not an insurance expert. Just like you get those disclaimers when people are making financial advice, giving you financial advice, refer to your tax expert. There's the insurance industry is highly regulated. It is key and very important that we don't make claims to our clients regarding insurance. We simply don't know the answers to that, and most people don't expect us to. We may have very generic answers for them, but please defer to the insurance experts or documents, whether it's you contacting our vendors for the question or giving your clients the phone number to ask those very specific questions or having them review the documents. I don't even try to translate what the documents are saying. Oftentimes, I will read it with them for their understanding, but I don't try to be an insurance expert. And it's key that we make sure to set our expectations as relates, the expectations of the clients as relates to insurance, so that you are not in a situation where they felt you advised them on something and when they actually needed to put it to use or to make a claim, the information you gave them was incorrect. So please contact your insurance company directly for the best options to offer your client. Oftentimes, when you are looking at their insurance for your clients, there are several different options available for your clients. I often will call the insurance company and ask, this is where my client is going. This is what they're doing. Please tell me, what do you think is the best option to cover? Because sometimes an insurance policy is as easy as two different policies, just some has more coverage than other. Coverage meaning how much they will cover as far as expense wise. So oftentimes I will have a client just making a trip that in total cost them $2,000. Do I really need to upgrade them to cover them up to $100,000? Perhaps not. Maybe the $50,000 version of the same policy is just fine. As far as recouping expenses related to their travel. I always send the terms of the insurance policy. It's usually a link that's provided by our insurance providers, where essentially the client can click on the link and read all the details about what this insurance policy covers. I usually let them know there are other options if they would like to, but I picked the one that we felt was best and closest for them in this particular trip. Because not every trip is the same animal. You want to make sure that it's, if they're just doing a flight, you don't need super duper coverage that's covering all kind of other things that all they're doing is flying, and that's what you're trying to cover. Along with the quote, send that link is what I typically do. We highly recommend doing that before they purchase it, so they don't get the information after they purchase it and realize that it perhaps is not covering what they want. It's basically what we're doing is covering our clients with the information that they need, and we're covering our business practices so that, yes, we've done our due diligence in informing our clients on what they're purchasing and assessing the risk, because ultimately it's what we're doing is deferring the risk from our client. And so they have to make an intelligent decision, and that's best done with the documents and the experts in the industry rather than we ourselves doing it. And this topic it was very important to me only because certainly since COVID, we have, I think, I would say about 75 to 80% of our clients are now taking insurance because of COVID and all of the changes to the travel industry that has been taking place. Even while you're traveling, or by the time you've booked and then a few months later have finished traveling, things have already changed, and so we want to make sure to recommend to our clients every single time to take travel insurance or cruise insurance, whichever one is most appropriate, so that they are covered if something comes up. And now more than ever, there's been so many changes, so many cancellations. It's just key and important for that client to have. I haven't done it yet, but I'm getting to the point where it has to be something they have to opt out of when I'm looking with them, so that they can't be said that I didn't advise and offer them the insurance. I didn't quite get there yet. We do have it in our proposal. It's a line that's always there. We indicate Signature Cruise and Travel highly recommends travel insurance. We do that for every single client when we're sending a proposal. It's a line that's automatically at the bottom of each of our proposals. However, I'm thinking of taking it a next step where they actually have to say, no, I don't want insurance. Now, we do that with our Google Forms when we're onboarding new clients with a trip or a vacation. But at this point, even clients that I'm familiar with, would you like insurance? Yes or no? Um, and then whether it's in writing or whether I make a note in the reservation notes that I've offered it, and on this date they said they declined. So that because I've had that situation where a client has taken a trip, something has happened, and I wondered, did I offer them insurance? Because now they could have really used it at this point. And I was happy to say that I did ask them about it. And so just taking it a step further, I am seriously considering making it an opt-out option each and every time that we book with people. I probably will end up doing that now that I'm talking to you and thinking about it out loud. So with insurance, it's very important these days, especially with everything that is going on, the changes that are taking place, the cancellations that are taking place, people that are getting ill and sick, and or even, not even necessarily a client getting ill or sick. It might be people that are traveling with them or in the same ship or plane or whatever it might be. And now you are stuck in a situation. And so we find that it is very helpful to make sure to offer it, to make sure we're doing it properly. And so we definitely want to make sure that we are not trying to advise people which policy to take. That's key and important that you don't do that, because you're not an expert. There are people trained specifically for that. Typically, or I would say 99% of the time when I offer insurance, I'm sending them the documentation. If they're happy with it, and I'm comfortable that I've done my part in making sure that they're educated about their decision to take insurance or not. So with Travelution, we have two main travel insurance providers that we work with. AIG Travel Guard is my go-to, but there's also Alliance Global Assist. Alliance Global Assist, you may notice that oftentimes when you're looking for your clients' airlines, almost all the airlines at the end of the reservation, they'll ask for, whether you want, insurance. And oftentimes the insurance provider is one of these two. Now, what I've done personally is when you book through a vendor or the airlines directly for your clients, you don't make a commission off of that insurance. Typically, what I'll do is I'll book the flight and then go to the travel agent website, the one of the two that I have displayed here, and book the same insurance through them so that I can earn commission for that. And sometimes the name of the insurance policy that the airlines sell is not necessarily the exact same name that you'll see when you're shopping it for your client when you log in. So I've had to call the insurance company and say, this is what this is the name of the policy the airline is using to offer. What is the most similar or a comparable policy name when I'm selling it to my client directly? And that way they're getting pretty much the same thing. And so we highly recommend using these two. I've been using AIG almost the entire time that we've been in business. Alliance I've been using more recently and maybe in the last year or two, especially after meeting with their agents during one of the travel agent seminars and getting to really know what they offer. And they have very competitive pricing as well. So I have nothing but good things to speak on for each of them. So I hope this is helpful. But one of the other things I wanted to just speak about is trip changes. I wanted to give you a tip. About two or 3 weeks ago, we did talk about changes to trips and our recommendations of what to do when you're making changes for a client. Making sure that you're getting all your answers, questions answered when you're working with the vendor to make the changes. Oftentimes, a tour operator like Vacation Express or Pleasant Holidays, one of those. When they're making the changes, I've also specified, hey, make sure you're getting a printout of the changes oftentimes before you get off the phone with them, so that you confirm that everything has been done and you have it in writing. And I did that about a month ago. We had a client, and I spoke about this about a month ago. We had a client that there was two people traveling together. They had a flight to Jamaica, hotel, Club Mobay, lounge, and transfers. 4 things that they were doing on this trip that we booked for them. And then they had insurance as well. So 5 things that they had. And one of the 2 had to come off the reservation that she wasn't able to make it for job reasons. And she wanted to replace that person with another person. So that's the scenario. Well, this is what happened last week. We called, about a month ago, we did call our tour operator and asked for these changes. I actually got a printed receipt indicating all the changes were made. Everything looks good. And I told my clients everything is A-okay, everything checks out. And last week they traveled to Jamaica. There was about 10 or 11 of them that traveled together, all of them having pretty much the same arrangements. They get to Jamaica and they're supposed to check into Club Mobay, all of them. And lo and behold, the person that I added to the reservation after taking off somebody else that couldn't go was not showing up at Mobay Lounge's guest reservation list. And I'm looking at my copy of the confirmation that after making all the changes from the tour operator, everything is looking good. The names are there. What's going on? We immediately called the tour operator. Most tour operators have what's called a same day or in destination desk where they're able to handle things that are happening right now. I can't wait for an email or a phone call back. Let's get this resolved now. They have a special desk usually for that. They acknowledged, yes, it's there. We don't know why the name is not showing up at the vendor's reservation desk. And they worked very hard the rest of the group went in, and this one person was waiting by the phone in Jamaica while I was trying to get this resolved. Because for all intents and purposes, everything worked out. And it turned out that whatever email was sent from the tour operator to the vendor, Mobay Lounge in this case, just didn't get to the right place. And that name, fully paid for, wasn't able to enjoy the Mobay Lounge VIP experience upon arrival in Jamaica with the rest of the group. This was kind of a little upsetting, but they rolled with the punches. One of the things that really helped was what we spoke about in the past. We immediately addressed this. We were on the line with them back and forth for about 2 hours, trying between them and our tour operator while they were trying to work it out. Unfortunately, with Mobay Lounge and COVID, they have reduced capacity now. They don't allow as many people in the lounge because of COVID. And so their list for the day was already been filled, and they were not able to allow that person to come in. And so we ended up having to arrange for a refund for that particular aspect of their trip. They rolled with the punches, mainly because we were on the line with them. They saw that we were trying to help them out. We were being proactive. These are all things that are helpful.
We were in destination.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. That's right. This all happened while we were away. We took a mini vacation. And we're getting a call while we're on vacation about this. And so it doesn't stop. You're absolutely right.
Never on vacation.
So we went ahead and got that taken care of. They were able to move forward with the transfers, and we were able to take care of that. And while I had the tour operator on the line, I said, this person was added to the Mobay Lounge and the hotel. Can you double check that I know I'm seeing it. You have their names can you check to make sure that their names are added to that hotel room? If we took off one person, we added the person to the room. They said, yes, everything looks good. We have a person on site. If they checked, well, about 45 minutes later, after our clients enjoyed their wonderful experience in Mobay Lounge, while this one person was waiting outside in I guess the airport area, we get a call, and that person's name is not on that hotel room. It's on the receipt. They couldn't find it. So what we had to do again while we were away, this good thing about having a CRM where you're able to, or a customer relation management software, where you're able to go on your phone and look up things directly that way. All of our business is on that CRM. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble because it would have been on the computer at my house, and I was on the West Coast in Utah at the time. We were able to, the front desk at the resort asked for confirmation of that person's name being on the reservation. I was able to send a confirmation in writing from our tour operator indicating that person's name was on there, and they were able to get into their room. So what are we suggesting? Just to be sure, check with the vendors directly when you're making changes. So after nearly 7 years in the business, I really never had to make this type of change before. This is the first time I had to do it. And I thought I was doing a good thing. I made sure everything was in writing, everything was in place, but things happen. So what I learned to do moving forward, and I just wanted to share it with the rest of you so that you don't have the same issue, is if you're making significant changes through a tour operator, pick up the phone and call the resort directly. Do you have that name on the reservation? Pick up the phone and call Mobay Lounge. That's what I ended up doing to make sure that their Mobay Lounge reservation was intact for their departure, because they had arrival and departure. And I spoke directly with Mobay Lounge in Jamaica, calling long distance, and sometimes you got to do that, and made sure that their name was on it. And so I texted my client and said, I spoke to this person at the reservation desk in location. You're good to go, because I did not want them to have another disappointment. And so we wanted to just share that with you, because things do happen in this world of COVID, at least in this period of COVID, where I don't know if you've experienced it. There's longer wait times for the airlines. The service is not as great at resorts and hotels because they don't have the staff, and they're stretched. And so things do slip through the cracks. And so to avoid those type of things, we hope that this will be helpful to just keep an eye, even when you're making changes and you have it in writing from a third-party vendor. If you're dealing with the airline directly with the airline, then you're good. But when you're dealing with a third party, which is, and this vendor, third party vendor is tour operator is great. I just never experienced this before, but we wanted to really share this with you and make you aware of some of the things that can happen, and hopefully you can avoid it with your clients. So with that, we will just go to questions for anybody that has anything that we can help you with. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. And my chief is right here with us. She's hiding, but she's here. Let me turn the screen.
Okay.
So we're open for questions. Please turn on your mics. Let's see what we can do to help. Hopefully this has been helpful when it comes to travel insurance. And if you want anything to add to any of those, please feel free.
Well, the only thing I wanted to say, and Jerome did an awesome job. I just sat quietly listening to what he was saying, but it is really important and critical that you are paying attention, especially when your clients are in destination, because things happen. I'm not going to mention the name of the airline, but there was a debacle that took place in the industry a few days ago, and it was posted all over the news with people that was stranded. I mean, the airports was a whole mess, flights canceled. We also, I don't know if we shared it with you, but we had a client who contacted us and insisted to book their flight with that airline because of price or because of cost. And even though we advise them differently, that's what they wanted to do. Again, when the client wants what they want, we try to advise them, but we move with what they want to get done. And fortunately for them, and Jerome didn't really get no rest, because every single day he was checking for that flight, seeing if that was one of the flights that they was going to cancel, sending messages. We was texting the client because they are in destination, and this airline has been canceling 4, 5, 6 flights a day. And so he kept on top of it so that he was able to give them a recommendation if, whether we had to book them with another airline to get them home because they're away. And so, but by God's grace, with a whole lot of prayer and supplication and staying on top of it, they was able to get on the flight. Their flight was the only flight that left on that day. And even being the only flight that left that day was still late. But they made the flight. So the moral of the story, that the stuff that we share with you, is that it doesn't matter whether, we on vacation or we taking a break. If you have clients that are in destination, make sure that when you're away, that you have your information or all the information regarding that particular client, because you never know when something's going to happen. And your response to them can't be, well, I'm on vacation.
Right.
Because when they are facing a situation, they don't want to hear I'm on vacation. You are the advisor. You are the one that made all of these arrangements for them. Their expectation is for you to be the one to help them resolve the issue. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. So that's just a piece that I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Just, you're always making sure that your clients, that you are serving them with excellence and that you are putting yourself in their shoes. What if that was me? What if I was the one in destination? What would I expect and what would I want someone to assist me with?
That was great. I see a few things in the chat box. Frank, you asked, I am never a vax guy. I think you're talking about vaccination. Will I not be allowed to travel? Yes, you'll be able to travel. They'll require testing, and that you are negative in the testing, and depending on where you're traveling to or what form of travel you're taking, it might be anywhere from 3 days to the day before, or so that you need to have that testing done. So you just have to plan in advance when it comes to testing to prove that you have a negative test. And then another question is, when offering vacation protection insurance, do you offer the insurance the supplier offers, or no? You always go with AIG Alliance? Great question. When it comes to Vacation Express and Pleasant Holidays, I always offer their insurance. Theirs is some of the most lucrative and comprehensive, and I don't, in fact, that sometimes I don't know how they're actually doing it because they have canceled for any reason. That trip that I just told you about, where a client decided they could not travel to Jamaica and I had to cancel them off the vacation, that was one of those vendors insurance that was put into place, and it was canceled for any reason, meaning any reason. Oftentimes with travel insurance, they have canceled for any reason under certain stipulations. It can't be because I sneezed too hard and I don't want to go anymore. They won't do that with. But these two, those vendors that I just talked about, Vacation Express and Pleasant Holidays, they both have those cancel for any reason, and they mean any reason. So they have very comprehensive, and I always offer those when available, and they usually the most cost-effective insurance. So AIG and Alliance are usually used when I'm booking outside of that scope, or if there's very specific needs that the client has that AIG and Alliance would cover better than the others. Can you cruise with a negative COVID test? Yes, you can. Yes, these rules are changing literally every day. I think it was the Carnival just announced that only unvaccinated passengers have to travel with their mask on when they're on the ship. Now they've changed it so that everybody has to travel with a mask on during their trip. And so it's been discouraging some cruisers to not travel because you don't want to be on vacation and have your mask on. So I think what they're in Florida, there was just a ruling by the courts that said, yes, the cruise lines have a right to ask, which defied the governor's mandate here in Florida, where cruise lines are now able to ask, according to a ruling that just took place today, that was challenged now, because cruise lines want to be able to have as healthy of a ship as possible. They don't want to impact their employees or the other passengers. But yes, you can cruise. If you have a negative test, there will be certain areas. If you're not vaccinated, there will be areas in the ship that what they're saying, depending on the cruise line you're with, that you won't be able to go. There'll be special areas where you can go and special areas you can't go. So that's something to be aware of and make your client aware, but it's literally constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, next question.
Hey guys, we went on the ship on that new Mardi Gras the other day. Let me tell you, anybody that knows me knows what I thought of Carnival before, okay? Carnival is in the game. That new ship is as good as Norwegian, as good as Royal. It looks just like a Royal or a Norwegian ship. It is unbelievable. They're putting 9 of those out. The food was off the hook on every one. You wouldn't even need dining on any of them. All the food spots were, the worst one was Guys. The rest of them were all off the hook, and Guys was off the hook. Okay, but they're all good. They were unbelievable. I couldn't believe what they had there. And to be honest, that ship, Carnival ought to be excited. I went up to our BDM's manager and told him, I said, "You've turned the corner." And he looked at me like, "What?" Because I was like, because I mean, I know a lot of people sell Carnival, but Carnival is not in the same league anymore with that new ship. We just had some of our agents go out on it the day after, but we were lucky. And guys, I did try to get a bus load in there, but they wouldn't allow me. I was lucky to get 2 spots to get on. They only wanted me and Farah, and that was it. And luckily to get 2. And it was an elite event. It was, but it was because I told them, I said, "Let me bring a van down. I'll rent a van. I'll load it up and bring it down." And they said, no dice. So I was trying for you guys. I was trying for everybody, but they didn't bite. But they didn't have very many on there. But the Carnival ship was off the hook. We did a couple lives. The one that I like the best probably is the one I've got of Farah laying in the recliner. That suite is probably one of the best suites for the money. It's got deck for well, you can see we had 2 deck. She had two layouts on it plus a table for 4. It was like having a balcony deck, but just a little bit bigger, but big enough to make the difference versus if you're just going to get a balcony. I always tell people, if you're just going to get a balcony deck, well, that's what you're getting, a balcony deck. But this VIP suite, the one we got was good. It was off the hook, and just a little feedback on that. Great training here tonight, guys. But this COVID thing is really off the hook. You've got to get, I had a lot of people ask me, do I got to have it to get cruised? Here's the deal. I don't tell anybody what they got to do, but if you're over 50 and you're not vaccinated, shame on you. Here's why. It's not you, it's the people around you. I got a brother that I think just come down with it. He just finally got vaccinated. He's got his first shot, but I think he's got it. I watch all these people, and I was real hesitant to not get it. I didn't want it. But if you're going to go on a ship, you're going to want it. I wouldn't tell anybody, if you're not vaccinated, don't even go on the ship, because it's not, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So I've got my own feelings on it. I'll keep it to myself, but that if I was anybody, I would not go on that ship if we were not vaccinated. Tara and myself were a little paranoid on a couple of the elevator rides because I had to go and ride to the 18th floor because my leg was bad. And I did not want to be on that elevator. There were some people there that just showed up, that shouldn't have been there. They were coughing and yeah, exactly. And I'm like, what the hell you guys even doing here, man? Get out of here. But can't tell people what to do. They're all there trying to get to play,
Yes,
So,
yeah.
anyways, it was off the hook. It was good. So just a little feedback on that. I know Katie's dying to get in there to tell us about it. And I've told her, well, you're gonna have to hold off now. I got pissed off agents because we didn't get any more spots. So I told her I wanted spots, but I told her boss more than her because she's just a little BDM. I went right to her boss. I like her boss, and he wants to ski in together and stuff. And I let him know, man. I'm like, look, man, you're gonna have me on these events. I need to be able to bring in some people. I mean, let's get it going. So. But it was all good.
Good.
Well, I want to answer the question that Key had. In terms of insurance, the only thing that you could really do is offer it, right? You don't want to come across like you pushing someone to do something. You advise them, and you could either suggest it, give them some feedback, give them instances, give them something that may trigger their mind and let them go like, let me think about it, right? But it's not really your responsibility to push harder, right?
You tell stories, Kate. Tell stories on the insurance. Here's one to tell them. Look, my owners, the owners of the host agency, they had they carry the agency. They have their insurance, and they didn't know it, but they were trying to fly back from the Dominican. We got our flights all messed up because of a hurricane. Not only did they put us up, they paid me for the flight. They paid me an extra $100, and they put us up. I think, once you in that on that flight on the way back, we ended up getting rerouted, everybody, and the insurance picked it all up.
Yeah.
Insurance picked everything up. It paid more for the premium for that year. And on top of not only, and of course for us, it was an inconvenience, but they put us up in a killer Holiday Inn. Farrah loved it. She had a great swim in. It was, we got delayed a day, but we got paid extra. We were in the sun, we were safe, we were in a great place and got paid. So AIG is what I sell. Alliance is good. I've never used them for claims, but AIG, I think you're going to make a little more too. Yes. But you're not ever pushing them. Here's what you got to tell them. Say, look, I don't know if you ever been delayed, but here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to come back to me and be mad because you didn't do it and you lost the money.
Yes.
Because that's what they're going to do, and they're going to be mad. So you take it away from them with stories. You don't feel powering stories with them. If you have never used insurance yet for yourself, that's why you're weak with it. Okay. And don't take that the wrong way. Here's the way I can be strong, because I can give you 15 to 20 instances of my agents using that insurance for all different purposes. One of them in particular was that trip, and we are going into hurricane season. So flights get disrupted. And when that happens, believe me, all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose in the airlines. Everything's getting stuffed. And you get thrown out of flight, and you're stuck in the airport spending the night because you don't get a hotel room.
That's right.
Your insurance isn't picking up for it.
That's right.
You're not going to be very happy. And I know that any of my agents that have used their insurance will vouch for that in a heartbeat, because it is an inconvenience for anybody. But to be recompensated, and then on top of it, they made enough to pay for the policy again for the next year. So,
Right.
I mean, it was killer, because we had it double booted up. So it was good. But that's how you sell it, Kay. You don't sell it, you just tell stories, you know, and that's it. And if they don't bite, no big deal. They just haven't traveled enough. They're traveling on a budget anyway. And all you can do is bring it up to them and then move on. Don't even harp on it. It's not a big deal until they need it. They're gonna be that way. I was that way, never had it. Now I won't be caught without it when I travel, ever, ever.
Well, and another thing too, Key, is that AIG, and you can see, well, you probably can't see this, but AIG have like these type of flyers.
Yeah.
It has information about, and this is you could get it
Yeah.
online, and you could download it. But it has information that tells you, like travel smart and the top 10 reasons why you should get insurance. So these are the things that like we share with our clients. So when they have something in their face that they could see, because each one of these 10 reasons that are on these, they are triggers. You read it because my.
So on these flyers, and this is available once you log into Travel Guard, you can go into both of these companies do this, where you can get material to send to clients that will help trigger it. But some of the, like it says, top 10 reasons to travel with travel insurance. If you have if you have to cancel a trip due to an unexpected event such as bad weather, illness, or family involuntary job loss, financial default of your airline. Number 2, you have to return home early due to unexpected emergency such as illness or death in the family. Number 3, the luggage is lost or delayed, forcing you to purchase unnecessary essentials. Number 4, your sporting, camping, or adventure equipment is damaged or stolen. Number 5, you become ill or injured and learn that your health care plan doesn't cover you outside the U.S. And let me just stop there, because there's one thing I wanted to mention to you. If you have clients that are on Medicare, Medicare is not covered if you're outside of the country. It doesn't cover you when you're outside of the country.
Only the U.S.
When you have employers' medical insurance, check. Many of them don't cover you outside of the U.S. So when clients tell me I have insurance, I tell them check before you check to make sure the policy works for you outside the country. Oftentimes they don't. Medicare for sure doesn't. So these are things that I can advise. These are things I know I can advise clients on, because I've had those questions that I've asked when I'm talking to the insurance experts. I can share it with my clients. Number 6 was you need medical emergency evacuation due to an accident or sudden illness. Number 7, you run into flight delays and miss a portion of your trip or cruise. Number 8, you have to evacuate your resort due to unexpected hurricane or storm. Now, last minute flights cost quite a bit of money. When you're covered, you don't have to have that stress. Number 9, you lose your passport, leaving you stranded abroad. Number 10, your car rental is damaged, leaving you responsible for the car report costs. These are just pointers that the experts that these companies hire bring up, and that's what I use. I usually have this list nearby when people ask this type of question, so that I can just kind of reference it during the conversation. I'm not reading it like I am to you. I would say, what if your trip cancels? These are things that they don't think about, but in today's age, they have to be concerned about these things. And as advocates, we need to kind of protect our clients from themselves sometimes. But we don't push for it. We just make sure that they are aware of it, give them the option. And then if they decline, then the one thing they can't say is that you didn't offer it.
Right.
And to clarify, I never use the one they offer. I'm always offering one that you can sell. You can do it in any way you choose. You can do it through the one that you're buying the product, but more than likely, if I'm not mistaken, it's not going to pay you near as much. as if you sell it through one of the AI.
That is correct.
That is correct.
That is
or
correct.
whatever.
Yes.
It's about half the commission. So
Right, that
Exactly.
is
You're
correct.
absolutely right. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're absolutely right, Dave. So somebody like a Vacation Express, they have great insurance. But if Vacation Express pays, I think it's 14 or 15%. I can't remember commission. That's including the insurance that you sell through them. Whereas Travel Guard is, I believe, 26%.
6%.
So David, you're absolutely right regarding that.
and you eliminate one middleman out of the deal when it comes time to process, which is
That's true.
a big deal. So,
That's true.
and you won't know that till you go to do it. And how I know that's through experience, because I got to go do it.
And I see Ray put a note in the chat. As travel advisors, it is critical that we ourselves are covered. So find out from, Travel Guard, they have a great plan that covers
plan.
you
Annual
for the year.
Mhm.
So you pay that fee and you are covered for the entire year. Anywhere you travel, anywhere you go, you are covered under the plan. It's not like when we are offering it to our clients that every trip they take, they have to pay. For a travel advisor, we pay one fee and we are covered. So I would say, take the time and look into it. And Ray said the last amount he paid was $128. So check into it, see what they, what they offering you, and but do it.
Yeah.
Do
One
it.
other thing I will mention about insurance when I'm talking to my clients is they have to be careful of pre-existing conditions.
Mhm.
There are rules that apply to pre-existing conditions. They will do what's called a look back period, anywhere between 90 days to a year, looking at your medical records. So because they want to make sure people that are they have accounts for any reason insurances, but you have to pay. You have to get that insurance within 15 days of their first deposit of the trip, because you don't want somebody booking something in January for, let's say, August. They get sick in March. They decide to purchase insurance to make a claim so that they can get their money back, because they don't think they're going to be able to go on the trip for whatever reason. So that's why they do that 15 days after their first deposit. You can get that canceled for any reason. So those are things that when you're talking to the client, those are things I can advise them about, because I've spoken to the advisors on the insurance advisors, they're pros, and they've told us things of that nature. But I try not to get into too much details. So if you know somebody that is experiencing a pre-existing condition, we have to make sure to get the policy that will actually cover them, because there are some, it's more expensive, but we don't want them to assume that they're covered and then to find out that they have this look back period. When we see in your medical records, you've been having this issue for a long time, we can't cover you now. So those are things to also be aware of when you're talking to your clients. This is a very important and complex, but easy at the same time topic. It's just key. We have to be careful of the claims that we make to the clients. You don't want to run into a legal issue or a bad, very satisfied client issue because you said something that you weren't an expert at or really not trained to say, and then you set the wrong expectation for your client. We don't want you to fall into that trap. So be careful with what you say, defer to the documents, defer to the experts, but make sure that your clients is well informed, if possible, before they actually purchase, or at least by way of you sending them the link where they can look at the details of that's why I almost always include it with my quote, so that they can see the details and make an informed decision themselves. Do we have any other questions about any of your experiences since we last spoke? We wanted to make sure to leave enough time for that. Everybody's doing great again. Wow, this is we must be doing some great training. And nobody has an issue.
Nobody don't be asking any question.
All right, well.
I always tell people there's the only foolish question is the one that you don't ask. So if you have a question, feel feel free to ask
Or if you
it.
have a
Or
story.
if you have a
yeah,
story,
yeah, that-
or you have a suggestion, or something is working with you, this is the forum. We want to know what is working
share
for
it
you.
with us so we
You
can
know,
all
share it. What is working? What is not working? What are your growing pains? You know, what is happening? How could we help you? We are here. That's what we are here for. And we want to learn. We don't know it. We don't know everything. I know you guys have some tips that you all could give us too. Sharing is caring. Come on. Nothing.
Well, the next time we have this, we're going to be asking questions, and we're giving you a warning in advance. We're going to be asking questions and asking people to respond to them, so that we can get more of your input as to how you're doing, what you're experiencing. So maybe even some, what would you do if this scenario took place? And maybe even offer a prize for the person that gets as many of them right as possible. So be prepared. So no more mutes and no more.
No more silence of the land. I think we're gonna give Kia a prize because she be asking questions. So we're gonna give her, she's gonna get a prize.
Maybe Eno and Jerome to close out. You can, for inspiration, share with everybody that wonderful testimonial
yes.
your client gave to you, because that's
Regarding the trip from Jamaica.
Oh,
yeah, that is inspiring, and that is what we all do it for. That little recognition of
yeah.
job well done.
And it was amazing because again, when it comes in and it is totally, there was no request for it. Again, we have this welcome back message that we told you that we sent to them. So before they leave, we send a bon voyage, and then when they come back, there's a welcome back email waiting for them. But we was pleasantly surprised with the message that they sent. They didn't only send it to us, but they actually posted on our Yelp. So I don't know if everybody probably is familiar with Yelp. And so they went on Yelp and this is what they said about us. I'm gonna read it. Hopefully I don't have my reading glasses. Kindly forgive me, but I'm gonna share with you guys what she said. So she said, "Thank you for recommendations and putting the trip together. The resort was absolutely beautiful. The infinity pools, the palm trees in the main pool, the infinity pool in our preferred," she put preferred in quotation, "in our preferred area overlooking the beaches were exceptional. Overall, exceeded expectations. Very easy to get in and out, transportation efficient. Our flights were great. Secrets was organized and on time with our check-in and the quick result COVID test." So on site, we advised them of they could take the COVID test there and it was quick, so that was great to know that they did it quickly. They tell your next group that going with them is a must, meaning one with Signature Cruise and Travel is a must. You did a great job. Big time pressure on you trying to make sure the trip meets the expectations for them, expectation for the money, and you guys nail it. Truly unforgettable, and we will be in touch again soon for you to start planning our trip for next year. So that piece right there, we'll be in touch with you soon to start planning our trip next year. That is what we strive for, right? We strive to make sure that our clients have this type of experience because we work with them. And I think this was like, we had a very short period of time to put this together for them. And it's rewarding. So, the commission is great, but this is what makes us keep going and do it the way we do it. Just to know that somebody, a group of them went and someone took the time to do this, makes a difference. And they're like, okay, we're ready for the next one. And that is what it's about.
Exactly. So this now is secret regarding this Yelp review that we received on our Signature Cruise and Travel account. This was the group that I was telling you about. One of the persons that got that was not allowed to get into Mobay.
Right.
She was a part of that group. Now she went through Mobay and the hotel experience just fine, but she was a part of that group. She could have easily had a sour feeling about how things went for that one person.
Mm-hmm.
That weekend we had about 19 people traveling to I think 4 different locations.
Mm-hmm.
And on that Sunday was most of their flights.
Right.
So we knew to be on standby for something that may come up, especially with flights. And sure enough, we got 1 or 2 calls. One was just saying, "Hey, our flight is delayed. Our connecting flight is delayed. We just wanted to let you know." I said, "We already got you covered.
Yeah.
We already told the tour operator your flight information, so they're watching your flight." So out of that group where one person got messed up, because of the way we handled it, I think was really what mattered. It's not the problems that will come up. People know problems will come up. It's how you handle them in a timely fashion, concerning voice, and like their family, and you're trying to get them through it all. So that Yelp review came from one of the persons that was in that group. And so that was key for me. That meant we did our job well when there was a problem. And that's where you really shine. And this same person, she came back, I think their flight arrived Saturday. Monday morning, she sent a separate email asking me about another vacation for next year and asking for suggestions of where to go. So that's where the growth takes place when you're a travel advisor. And we're going to have a separate training on this. I thought I was going to be able to squeeze it into this one, but it was so much to deal with but just it has to do with just winning clients, not just bookings. It makes a big difference. So it's great when you can have a client asking you for the next vacation before they even put away their suitcase. So that's the winner that will get you elevated in this business. And when you can do that, and she's recommending other friends, so it gets exponential for you. So take your time with people. It can be a pain, but it's worth it all the way through.
Now, Jerome, I want to open this up for this because you had 19 people. So how many did they travel with in that particular group? How many was there?
And that particular group was, I think, 13 of them. 13.
There's a nice commission on that too, by the way. And that was really good. But on top of it, think about this, because that's only one. I want people to really realize that was only the one that wrote the Yelp.
Right.
Okay. But what about the other 12? Don't you think they had that experience? What do you think they're going to do when they're thinking about traveling? So it's not just them. And see, you guys now have got a potential of over 12 different people that can open up. Not saying they all will and not well, but I guarantee you'll get 1 or 2 more out of that extra one of just that group. By the way, great job on that trip too, by the way. You guys did a great job. I see you they had to have a good time. That was a good one. But proud of you guys. But hey, Terminal 3 is done and now let me tell you something. That was something to see at Port Canaveral. We have never been able to get down there.
It's really nice.
When you do this garage, Carnival, that whole new port for Carnival is off the hook. Every one of them are going to want to switch their way, like they just did there's 2 gates to get on. so so it doesn't matter. Not everybody's fighting to get to the bottom floor to run out to the ship. There's two different. So the first floor and the third floor brings you out to the ship. And so there's no more this everybody running to the elevator trying to get down. And anybody that's been there knows what I'm talking about. And then the long ass line going in and everything. They don't have that. They got two. And the way they laid this terminal out was off the hook, man. And boy, what a nice job they did. It was incredible. We got excited because we got to see things we never saw off of that port before. And just so you know, now there's a beach right there. We didn't know that, but there's a campground, an RV park. So from now on, when we do that, guess what, guys? There'll be a cookout. Everything. Dave's gonna have his RV down there. Sammy and Sassy be down there on the outside looking in. Yeah, I mean, it's off the hook. Ferris says, hey, I could come down here. We actually got off the ship, went over to that campground. And of course, RVing people are just off the hook, but they were loving it there. So all that construction that had been going on, what a killer job they came out and ended up finishing up with. So it was great, man. But the layout of the whole three, it makes you want to not even go to 2 or 1 anymore. You know, I mean, well, it's a nightmare, but you don't been in them, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all great, but I mean, you get in that maze and you're going, oh my God, none of that stuff with this other one. It was really cool. So anyways, just food for thought. A great job on that secrets trip, guys. I see you guys got a couple of trips coming in. Did more than that, yeah. See big checks going out. You guys are good. Yeah. Smiling big.
We're working.
We're working.
Yes, you are.
There's another group that we're working on even right now for next year. St. Lucia. That's the total contract is $70,000 for that one. So and they're booking the rooms. So we're pretty excited about that.
Carnival in St. Lucia.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you that Carnival's going to be a run for the other ones have got to be paying attention because that new ship, and if they get another one out and they get it running, it's not going to take long for the word to get out on the, I mean, all you got to do is take a look at our lives and you'd swear I didn't say anything while I'm on it because, you know, I don't want them going, hey, what are you doing, Dave? And I'm going, but, you know, it looked like I was on the Carnival in Norwegian, man. It was like, you know, I like Norwegian's color schemes with the wood and everything better than anything. But but if you looked at the colors of the rugs and all the different stuff that we looked at in that, especially in their rooms, you'd swear you were in a royal room. I mean,
they stepped it up.
The just the regular room, but you know, I'm like,
and that's
I told Farrah I can't even sell her. Somebody's gonna ask me what to get on a ship. I'm just gonna tell them, man, do you want an experience or do you just want to sleep? You know, I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, because I've had the corner ones, I've had them all, but the for the money, and I don't know what that one goes for that we looked at, but that one's got to be a middle of the road. Not way overpriced and was killer. Yes, the ladies will love it. They got the big makeup area. The guys got actually a table to work from. They got a TV to pop. So there's no more pushing around in the back of my. One thing I always hated about a ship, it's like, let me just get the hell out of here so you can do your thing and I'll come back. You know, but they got this pretty spacious now. It's pretty nice, so it's good.
Yeah, the Mardi Gras is,
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome ship.
I will offer that one. I will sell that one.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice ship.
And that's their first LG ship. So the liquid gas propulsion is supposed to be much friendlier to the environment. So
and cost effective. Yep.
Well, Faraday, we'll give it back to you if there's no other questions. So we always try to make these presentations a little shorter for questions, but we're excited to share this information. So We wanted to make sure to give a little extra time for any shy people that had any more questions. I don't see anything else in the chat. So
We're gonna be silent next week. I just want to let you know. We're gonna come on and we're gonna be silent. We're gonna,
I don't think that's going to work.
it's gonna work. Somebody gonna say something. Key gonna say something. I know that. She gonna start the party. She gonna get the party started. She gonna eat a lot of people cheese too.
Oh, I got people saying, "Hey, Jerome's back in business. He's got that camera going again. We know he's a happy camper." I saw you take a picture of Jerome. I got you.
Yes. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll Faraday, you take over and we'll.
All right. Well, thank you guys. That was an awesome training, and appreciate everybody's time. Next week, don't be so shy. Bring a few questions. And Jerome that's what they're here for. They're Mentor Monday. So if you want to get mentored, bring your questions for them.
Bring your questions, absolutely.
We're gonna be asking questions because we want to know how you guys are doing things. So be ready to be tripped up. They're gonna be some trick questions.
So
I want to see how you're gonna answer them if you've been paying attention.
Okay, so everybody get their makeup on and do their hair.
Yes, we want to see faces.
We want to see faces.
That's right. So be ready for next week. Be beautiful and handsome. We don't want to see these static pictures. We want to see faces.
Everybody have a good night. Thank you.
You guys heard it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Go get that healthy food dinner tonight.
Yes.
All right. Good night, everybody.